A fragile truce announced by the American President Donald Trump hangs in balance. The state of Israel has vowed retaliation after claiming a missile strike by Iran, a claim that has been squarely denied by Iran. Now, Iran and Israel have continued to trade fire even in the aftermath of the ceasefire that has come into effect. That are reports of explosions that have rocked Tehran again. The Iranian state media said that the northern city of Bab al-Sar was in fact attacked by the Israelis. The Israeli army radio has confirmed the attack on the Iranian military radar near Tehran. In Israel, the Iranian strikes have rocked Beersheba. Now, these are some of the images of the destruction that has been wreaked in southern Israel's largest city. And the authorities claim at least about 4 people have been killed after an Iranian ballistic missile struck a residential building in Beersheba. They said that Iran launched missiles into Israel's airspace more than 2 hours after the ceasefire was supposed to take effect. Now, Iran, on the other hand, has denied striking the state of Israel post the ceasefire. The Armed Forces General Staff said that no Iranian missiles were launched after the ceasefire came into effect. The Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has implied that the strikes were launched just before the 7:30 GMT deadline that was announced by Donald Trump. Now, the American President Donald Trump, on the other hand, has appealed for calm. He has assured that Israel will not attack Iran. On being asked about what Israel has claimed was a clear ceasefire violation, Trump has said that he's in fact pretty unhappy with the state of Israel for unloading a load of bombs after the announcement of ceasefire by him.
But I'm not happy that Israel's going out now. There was one rocket that I guess was fired overboard. It was after the time limit and it missed its target. And now Israel's going out. These guys got to calm down. It's ridiculous. I didn't like plenty of things I saw yesterday. I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel, either.
Soon after the Israeli violation, Donald Trump, in fact, swung into action and called the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. The American president warned Netanyahu in some exceptionally firm terms not to retaliate against Iran. Now, remember, Trump made the ceasefire announcement in a post on Truth Social. The post came at about 10 p.m. GMT, which was about 6 p.m. in Washington. Trump said that the complete and total ceasefire will come into effect in approximately 6 hours, setting a deadline of around 4 a.m. GMT. All right, now joining us in the broadcast, we've got Ms. Beata Gorka-Winters, in fact, an expert on international security, and she's joining us live from Warsaw. Ms. Gorka-Winters, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on WION. Now, this is a very significant moment. There is a fragile ceasefire that is in place, and what is interesting to note is that the American president has just recently said that he's not looking for a regime change, starting from saying that he wanted an unconditional surrender from Iran to announcing a ceasefire and now saying that he does not even want a regime change. What do you think is playing on the mind of the American president as he's gone through these shifting positions?
Good afternoon. Well, it's very hard to spot, what's on Trump's mind, actually, because he's very often changing his mind. But taking into consideration the former experiences of U.S. military interventions in the Middle East, which were not very successful, and I'm talking especially about Afghanistan, when U.S. forces were engaged for more than 2 decades, and with this target aim of topple down Taliban regime and change the government to make Afghanistan democratic country, model country, crafted we've crafted security sector according to Western standards, modernized the society according to Western ideas and views, and we saw a spectacular failure of American efforts in this regard. And finally, after 2 decades, Taliban managed to regain the power in the country, and all this American but also European efforts, because all Western society, community, NATO countries, also NATO partner countries were engaged. So,
Right.
so we also saw a very difficult path in Iraq when the whole security, when we had Hussein trial, yes. And prosecuted, and total reconstruction of Iraqi security sector, which led partially to the long war with ISIS on the part of Iraqi territory and Syrian territory. So dismantling, it's not easy job, and easy target to get into the country with military troops and try to reorganize the country, the regime, without popular support. And we don't have any indicators, yes, that Iranians want a change. Of course, they express a lot of grievances because, Ayatollah's government, they have their own rules, Muslim law, and of course many CSOs, societal organizations, are protesting against treating some minorities, women, etc., etc. But is it enough, to get this support, for regime change, especially when you look at the attitude of Persians towards Israel, towards United States? Do they really want
Ms. Gorkovich, I think you've touched upon several important challenges, because in the past, the United States, even when it has brought about regime change, has struggled to put in place some order after bringing about that regime change. But this war in Iran, started by the Israelis with their Operation Rising Lion, had one clear objective. They wanted to dismantle Iran's nuclear infrastructure. But now a lot of people are saying that we are worse off from where we started. After the Americans have bombed the Iranian nuclear facilities, we don't know where the 400 odd kilograms of 60% enriched uranium is. And the Iranians seem to have moved all of this to a secret facility that no one seems to be aware of. In your assessment, to what extent do you think this war has been successful in dismantling the Iranian nuclear program?
Well, I think that it is partially successful because, common military drills, United States and Israel, they started earlier, yes, already in the last year they were exercising together and probably already exercising to this operation, yes. So Iran had actually Iranian government, they had a lot of time to prepare, to change, some locations. So I guess, we need to wait a little bit longer, to assess, to have like satellites imagery from the country to assess it properly. But I don't believe that this potential, all this enriched uranium, but also other installations, because it's not only about the ingredients. Yes, it's also about a lot of installations. So I guess that partially that might be true that they were moved to other locations. Iranians are perfect in mimicry. Yes, so they show something to the world. They are convincing that they are doing something in this location, and then we just for us to discover that it was a complete mimicry, and they have some other facilities for 4 years already. The general assessment of experts experts was that nuclear capacity of Iran, nuclear facilities are extremely difficult to destroy because they are so much dispersed. That's the one thing. They are deep down, yes. So it's even with bombs used by United States and Israel, I don't believe they could destroy everything.
I think you've made that very significant point there, because it's not easy to ascertain as to what actually has happened with the Iranian nuclear material that they have. But we are completely out of time. Thank you very much indeed, Ms. Gawker-Winter, for joining us with that perspective there.
Thank you.